Hello family, it's Dr. Arianna again, and today I want to talk to you about pellets. Yep, I said it. Pellets. So, what are pellets? Pellets are a way to introduce not any medication, but in this case, bioidentical hormones. So this here is the pellet itself. It looks just like a little pill. It's a little bit longer. This happens to be a testosterone pellet, and this is one of the most common pellets that I insert. Now, let me just tell you the story on my pellet journey. For years and years and years, I never did pellets. I think it was because I learned a lot about bioidentical hormones from a compounding pharmacist, and she was really like anti-pellets because you put them in, you can't take them out. If you have a reaction, we can't do anything. So I was like, yeah, don't do pellets. So, and of course, it's really not a conventional way to prescribe medication. It's not necessarily unconventional, but it's just not something that, people are as familiar with. So myself included, I wasn't so familiar with it, so I kind of shied away from it years and years and years. But all these years, women would come in my office and they'd be like, do you do pellets? And I was like, no, I don't do pellets. And I explained why. And they'd be like, I love my pellets. You really should do pellets. And this literally went on for years. And so finally, I just happened to be with one of my nurse practitioners, was training to do the pellets. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try these things because I just keep hearing the rave about the pellets. What is the big deal? Like, it's testosterone. You can take testosterone with a cream. You can take it with a choky. You can do all kind of different ways. Like, why is a pellet so special? Well, I learned. So I got the pellet, and about 4 weeks in, I realized why women love their pellets. Woke up in the morning, I had lots of energy, just felt motivated. It was like, yeah. But for real, libido over the top. And since I got my first pellet, now I ask women, before I put the pellet in, I just say, do you have a partner? Like, you have somewhere to go when this kicks in, because you're going to want to have a partner or something. You need to plan. I really don't advise you putting pellets in and you're just going to like on your own. I guess it's possible, but not recommended. In any case, pellets can be great for increasing libido, sensation, motivation, a little more energy. But there's a downside to pellets too. Too much testosterone looks like road rage. So that's what happened next. So of course the libido went up. It was ridiculous. But the other thing that happened is that I was like, driving, and I think somebody cut me off or did something, and then I was like, yeah, I was ready to cut somebody. And I was like, whoa, where'd that come from? Because, of course we get irritated when people do things when we're driving, but it was a little more extreme. I didn't know, nobody was hurt, but just know. But I realized like, oh, okay, it's the testosterone. So I had to just be aware of that. It wasn't anything crazy, and it actually didn't last that long, but I was very aware that I felt more. And I have to say, after getting testosterone, I had so much more empathy for men. I was like, oh, is this how you feel all day long? Like, this is not productive. Like, yeah, that's a lot. So, but I understood now, because I'm thinking, well, why do men just think about sex all the time? Like, what is that all about? It's testosterone. Pellets can be an interesting way, a good way for you to get bioidentical hormones. I generally don't like to give you pellets as the first, if you've never been exposed to bioidenticals, because once you put it in, you can't take it out. Now I'm going to do a quick little demo on how simple it is to put the pellet in. It takes me about 5 minutes to do the procedure. It doesn't hurt. You will have some tenderness on your backside for a couple days, but that goes away. We put a Band-Aid and try to, you don't want to get any water or anything on it. And we just want to keep the area sealed for a while. But the pellet is very simple. I already showed you what the pellet looked like. So what we're doing is we numb, not feeling anything except pressure. And then we're going to take what's called a trocar. And with this trocar, we're going, well, before we use the trocar, we make a small little incision so we can just kind of break into the skin. After we do that, we take this trocar, which has a sharp edge, and we basically insert it into the tissue, just like this. Get it in there. Then we take the sharp part out. We take the pellet. We put the pellet right in this little cylinder. And then we take the blunt, because now it's already inside the tissue. We don't need to do anything now except kind of shove it all the way down in there. So I just take that and I just push it all the way down, and the pellet is coming out on the other side. That goes into the tissue, and then I take everything out. We either steri strip it, like paper band-aids, or paper sutures, or I can even suture it. Because some of the things that can happen is the pellet, if you're too active or it hasn't sealed well, the pellet can come out. That's rare, but it can happen. You can have a reaction to the pellet. I learned recently that it's not a good idea to put pellets in if you've had fat transfer recently. So I had a patient, she kind of didn't tell me that, and we put the pellet in, and yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't ideal. And so I was like, yeah, note to self, that's not good. And a note also that you should tell your doctor if you've had a procedure before they go doing another procedure in the same area. But that's a different story. But in any case, several weeks later, she's loving her pellet. She got pellets and an O shot. So yeah, she's at home right now, probably with her husband. That's what's happening during COVID. And I think I had another patient today. She's like, we're just home. We're having lots of sex. So she came in and got her O shot, and she's like, yep, we're just keeping it going. So what can you say? I guess there's some good things that come from COVID. There's going to be a lot of COVID babies. But for you perimenopausal, menopausal women who don't have to worry about those babies, you can just do you. But if you need a little bit more to do you, think about pellets. Give me a call. Here at Tula Wellness, I'm Dr. Arianna Sholes-Douglas. We're here at Tula Wellness and Aesthetics. And like I said, bioidentical hormones are a wonderful way to introduce hormones, but they're not for everybody. But I hope that this video has been helpful and that you at least understand a little bit more about what pellets are and if you're a candidate for them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.